Hello, everybody. We got a really good question about Bitcoin. So that's what this focus is going to be about, Bitcoin and its value and et cetera, et cetera. But we just wanted to check in and say hi to everybody. Hi. You guys say hi.
How's everyone doing?
All right, that's good.
Have you counted all your crypto profits today?
Yeah, that's nice.
You sell your Bitcoin and you're saying, I want to sell my Bitcoin.
I know, that's it. I'm here, I'm right here. Yeah.
So I had a real quick question.
What's that?
You know how you're like a, total professional actor and everything?
I am.
How's the acting market these days?
That's a good question. The acting is coming back, right? As you guys know, the COVID situation, the productions are opening back up. We're getting back to our series. All this stuff is it. I'm really proud of my industry because of how their protocol is with the whole COVID. They're really serious about it. That's really great. It's really great. But as far as like the life of, let's say, an actor, I heard an actor say one time, a seasoned actor said, this is really the life of an actor. It's Stevie Johnson who, right? But when you're first starting out, nobody knows you, Stevie Johnson who.
Yeah.
And then that goes into get me Stevie Johnson, right? Because now I'm making it. Everybody wants Stevie Johnson, right? And then as you start to feign a bit, then they say, get me someone like Stevie Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the light is getting dimmer, right? And then finally, Stevie Johnson who? Right? So that's kind of like the life of an actor. That's kind of like the whole arc of it all. And when I think about that, it makes me think about the value of anything, specifically Bitcoin. Like, what is the value? Like, how come, like acting in a sense, how come we just can't hire somebody else in to do the job that Bitcoin does? How come? Like, why is it Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin the Mel Gibson or the Brad Pitt of it all? I don't, how come we can't just get, there's a guy down there at the Cheesecake Factory that looks a little bit like a Brad Pitt. How come I can't just hire him to put him in the movie, and he's going to cost a lot cheaper? Why? So why is Bitcoin the one? Why can't we just do a replica or something else?
So there's two main reasons. And to bring it back to the Brad Pitt deal, Brad Pitt's name, if you get the Brad Pitt lookalike, people will think, oh, that's Brad Pitt, but when they don't see Brad Pitt on there, it's not going to stick as well.
Okay.
Brad Pitt has a brand that Brad Pitt has built up through a long acting career.
Okay.
And the second reason is Bitcoin's mining structure.
Okay.
And that's kind of like Brad Pitt's acting, essentially. You can get the Brad Pitt guy from the Cheesecake Factory,
right,
but he may not really know how to act the same as Brad Pitt.
Yes.
He may not
Yes.
quite have the same.
I have a feeling that I have a feeling he doesn't have the same chops.
Exactly.
I mean, he might be able to chop that salad, but he doesn't have the same. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay.
So it's that same kind of thing. It's half of it is the brand. Bitcoin was the first one, the first cryptocurrency that there was, and so everyone knows the name. So just because everyone knows the name, just because more people use Bitcoin than the other ones, it has that brand.
That what we call is marquee value in the world of acting, right? So when you see that person's name up on the movie, when you're walking into the movie, you see that person's name, you're going there, oftentimes that person is driving you to see that film. You like that person's name and you want to see them and their personality in that film.
Exactly. You don't even like the whole premise of the movie.
No.
It's like, oh yeah, it's that actor. I want to see that actor.
Exactly.
You're going there for the actor.
Yes.
This is not the movie.
Okay, so the marquee value. So Bitcoin has the marquee value that others don't have. And there's a certain kind of trust that comes with that too, right? Yeah. Like you know for a fact that if Brad Pitt is going to be in the movie, it's going to deliver on some level.
Exactly.
Right? There's a certain security, if you will, that comes along with the marquee value.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because Brad Pitt isn't going to sign on to some goofball movie.
Yes.
And that kind of gets back to the mining issue. So there are different ways of keeping a blockchain secure. And by secure, what we really mean is the blockchain itself is mathematically locked. It cannot be altered.
Right.
So basically what that means is you put a transaction on there, nobody can change that transaction.
Nobody can change it.
Mathematically. Period.
Mathematically.
It's locked in there.
And just for those who are listening, we do have a complete episode breaking down how the blockchain and the mathematics of it make it so very, very secure. So if you want to have an elaboration of that, go to one of our other episodes that talk about the blockchain and how that whole thing works.
Yes. And the blockchain itself is mathematically locked. The loophole is that someone else who wants to commit fraud can make their own fake blockchain that is also mathematically locked but includes their bogus transaction in it. And that's what we're trying to get away from with this mining thing. And this is...
It's like a scammer.
It's like a scammer, exactly. Exactly. If there's a scammer trying to make some bogus transaction, they can't screw around with the main blockchain, but they can make a phony and try and pass the phony one off as real.
Now, this side note, I'm just going to have to share with you guys, right? My website is ran by iPage. Not trying to plug anything, but I'm just saying this. But then I got a call the other day. Hi, this is so-and-so from iPage. And your website is insecure. And we're going to shut down your site.
That's not
unless you fix these errors that are in here.
That's not
and the errors are really complicated, and I felt like, oh my God, I don't really understand all this stuff like this. Don't worry about understanding it. We have technicians online that can fix this for you, and only for $375 we can go ahead and correct these errors right here. And then they'll send you like a whole bunch of coded type of stuff, like this is this and this is this, and you're not going to get your Google Analytics, and you're going to shut down this and blah blah blah. You only have so much time. So I thought that was legit. I thought it was actually iPage contacted me. The email the guy sent me, the little thing, even the return thing email had an iPage thing in it. I thought it was the real deal.
They have all that.
My family member was like, "Nah, don't. That's not the real deal." But it felt real, and it seemed real, and it seems like this is that blockchain fake thing that you're talking about. It seems like it's real.
It's the exact same thing. It's a scammer, just like with the iPage scam. They're going to make it look the same. It just has their one bogus transaction where they give themselves a bunch of Bitcoin. Or where they take Bitcoin away from somebody else.
And make it look real.
Exactly.
I mean, if I didn't have people that intervened or whatnot, I was sitting there biting my nails thinking, I got to come up with $375 or whatever it is to save my website.
And then it turns out it's all bogus.
It's all bogus.
Exactly.
For those of you that are watching this, I just got, because I usually let Nick go ahead and vent and say whatever he has to say, but now I'm going to take the platform right now for a minute. And I just want to say, those of you that are watching right now that rub your testicles in butter thinking that it's a good thing to take advantage of other people, you are wrong.
Exactly.
You are wrong, and that is, you should be slapped and sterilized, is what you should do, right? Someone should take a white glove, dip it in baby oil, and smack you across the face, right? Because it is wrong.
Right.
It's wrong. So stop doing it. Get a life. I don't care if you work at a coffee shop. Do something. Stop trying to get over on people. I'm tired of it. So all you fake Bitcoin miner people or whatever, and all you scammers out there that are on apps out there, whatever the case is, look in the mirror.
Exactly.
Brush your teeth. Floss that shit. If you brushed your teeth today, you're probably sitting here watching this right now with some funky ass breath. Go get a life. Stop scamming people. Shame on you. Wipe your ass. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
You can play that one
Right.
if you want. That was pretty good. So, we have all these scammers who are making these fake blockchains, and technically, they can't actually steal anyone's Bitcoins because they don't have the key number.
Right.
Mathematically, they can't do it. What they can do is this thing called a double spend. And it's where they spend the same Bitcoins twice. Now, if you could spend the same dollar twice, one of the merchants is going to lose out.
Right.
One of them is going to wind up with a fake bill.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is they can spend a large amount of Bitcoin twice. And they are going to get the merchandise from both merchants. And it could be something real big.
Right.
But they're not going to spend to pay both merchants.
Right.
They can scam one of them, and they don't really care which one it is that they scam. They just know that they've spent the same Bitcoins twice.
Yeah.
For the scammer, what's the percentage of you actually receiving the legitimate Bitcoin purchase?
If you could do this all the time,
Yeah.
then you could do it as many times as you want, because you could make this fake blockchain. If everyone agrees that your fake one is real,
Yeah.
you could do it all day long. And so the way we get around this is this thing called mining. And mining is where each time you want to add this block of transactions on the blockchain, each time you want to add another lump of transactions,
Yeah.
you have to solve a math problem. And this isn't a math problem that you could ever do with pen and paper. It's way too complicated. Only a computer can solve. I mean, technically a human could if you had years and years and years and years with pen and paper. But this is a math problem that's so complicated, only a computer could do it in a reasonable time. And by making a bunch of computers solve these math problems, it adds a cost to adding a new block onto the blockchain.
It adds a cost.
Yes.
Define cost. What is there like
Not there is a monetary cost, but that's very, very small. That's totally separate.
Right.
This is a mathematical cost. This is an electricity cost. This means you have to run these complicated computers to solve these complicated math problems a lot. And what you're doing is you are adding mathematical weight on the blockchain. And whichever blockchain is quote unquote, it's not an actual weight, but you are adding a bunch of math problems on the blockchain that are very, very complex to solve.
Yeah.
So whoever has solved more of these math problems, that's how we keep the real blockchain real. That's so we know between the real one and the fake one.
Right.
It's called proof of work.
Proof of
work. So it's not like people doing the work, it's computers doing the work.
Okay.
So all of the legitimate miners are doing quote unquote legitimate work to secure the blockchain.
Right.
And what makes it so secure is that there are so many of these miners running so many of these computers that no scammer could ever keep up with them. Because there's so many of them.
Right.
It uses up 1% of the entire planet's electricity to do this, to keep the blockchain secure. Is a scammer going to have 1% of the planet's electricity? No way.
No.
And plus, they got to get all these.
How did you come up with that figure? 1%. How did you come up with that figure?
There's a whole complicated deal because it has to do with these things called ASICs. It used to be like way back in the day. You could solve these math problems with a regular old computer just like this.
Yeah.
Then they started making the math problem harder because they figured, oh no, there's scammers. They're just going to get a bunch of regular computers like this.
Right.
So they started using the graphics cards. You got to play. You got to have a graphics card to play video games.
Yeah.
They started using those, and so it made it way too hard
to do this. Okay.
And then even that wasn't good enough. They started making these things called ASICs.
Okay.
And ASICs are
just like the shoe.
Almost ASIC. Application Specific Integrated Circuit. I'll just write it out.
Okay. That's good. And that's why we have altered our background, you guys, so we can end up doing things just like this in real time. ASICs.
And this is, so you don't have to know what all this stands for. You just have to know this means a lot of math problems, no scammers.
Copy.
1% of the world's electricity.
Copy that. All right. So there's that. Now we digress. Get back to it.
Yeah. So because you have all of this stuff, all these people running all these computers to keep these scammers out of the blockchain, that is like Brad Pitt's acting.
Okay.
Nobody, not nobody, but very few people know how to act as well as Brad Pitt.
Right.
So you can't just go out and get some I don't want to say it's a fake Brad Pitt, but someone who just looks like Brad Pitt.
Right.
You can't do it because there's this. So half of it is the brand, the Bitcoin name. Everyone knows the Bitcoin name. You can see it in the news, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's half the reason you can't just replace Bitcoin.
Right.
The other half is these miners. There's so many miners, there's so much value. The value starts to create a bit of it feeds on itself. The more valuable Bitcoin gets, the more miners there are.
Yeah.
The more miners there are, the more secure it is, the more value.
Right. It just builds on top of itself.
It just builds on top of itself.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And the other reason that Bitcoin is valuable is it has a limited supply, and this is really, really important.
Okay. So this is the new goal, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. This is really important because there's a limited supply. And what I think, now I'm going to jump in with my little 2 cents of knowledge about how all this is. Part of the problem with a lot of imitators is that they're infinite, damn near infinite, right?
Yep.
There's just for example, Nick's favorite coin. I'm just kidding. but for a coin that he's not a fan of. Part of the reason why he's not a fan of it is because there's so many of them.
Exactly.
It's endless. It's
endless nonsense out of this dog coin. There's so many dog coins. They can't have any value individually because there's billions, there's trillions, there's so many of them.
Yes.
And the reason is because dog coin was started as a joke. So nobody ever thought they were going to be valuable. So they just started making them.
How many can they make?
They can make as many as they want.
They can make as many as they want. So you guys, so let's just get it down here. So not even trying to get into trading advice or whatever the case is, but here's just some logic and common sense.
Yes.
Think of it like this. If you bought something, and if part of what makes like the Mona Lisa is because there's only one. And if they could sell Mona Lisas at Ross and Marshalls, if you could go and you're going to buy it for $6.99, not $69 billion, $1 million, right?
Yeah.
If there's only one. But if they made all of those Mona Lisas and put them in every store, and every time you walk by, every 3 blocks you could buy one, then the value of it is going to, of course, drop.
Exactly.
And that's what Nick is trying to say to you guys as far as the Dog Deutsch de Giro coin is that the reason why it doesn't hold its value is because they can make an infinite amount of them.
Exactly.
Now, sticking with the actor analogy, I live here in Los Angeles, and there is a term that we've heard for a long time. Actors are a dime a dozen, right? Now, these are old figures, but I do know that there's about 100,000 actors in LA County alone. And that's, I don't know if that's registered with Screen Actors Guild or not, but I do know that's a pretty safe figure. That's why they're a dime a dozen, right? I like to think that I'm an individual, like there's no other Stevie Johnson, right? Watch what happens when I go into an audition and I walk into the room, right? And as unique as I think I am, I'm humbled really quickly when I walk in that door and there's 85 different versions of me, right? Most of them are better looking than me, right? They're better shape, they have better credits than I, right? And I just look at it and I just sit down and shut up because I realize that the value of me is replicated so many that actors are, in theory, or in that particular concept, a dime a dozen, right?
Exactly.
But so that's why
It's the exact same.
that's it.
Yeah.
So this is why the Bitcoin is the one of a kind. Bitcoin is the originator, right? Bitcoin cannot be replicated.
Exactly.
Right? I feel like there's a rap song in there, right? I feel it coming. But what is the actual utility? Yeah,
So
that's good. Thank
the
you for
actual
that.
utility with Bitcoin is it avoids inflation because dog coin, just like the US dollar, they can print as many as they want. They can make as many dog coins as they want. They can make as many US dollars as they want, and that's why the value goes down. And that's why the prices of your goods and services go up. You ever wondered why the price of things goes up all the time? It's not an accident. It's because they keep printing more dollars.
Yeah.
They keep printing more dollars all the time because that's how they want to keep the economy going. Is they want to keep giving out more money to business. They want to keep giving out more stuff. And the more the value of the dollar goes down, the less you're going to save your money and the more you're going to spend your money. And that's good for the economy because
Wait, say that again. Let's rewind the tape a little bit and say that again. The more what?
the more the dollar goes, the more the value of the dollar goes down, the more prices go up, the more you are going to spend your money instead of saving your money. And this is very good for the economy because what we want for the economy is to make more stuff and have people spending more stuff, to have people more employed. So you want to have maximum spending all the time. And that's what's good for everyone in general, to have maximum spending, maximum GDP, maximum economic growth. But that's not so smart for you individually. You want to save. You want to save your money so that you have more on hand for when you need it, for when you're older. You want to save. That's the best thing for you. So what the Federal Reserve is doing, what the people in charge of the dollar are doing, is incentivizing you to do something that is not good for you, which is to not save your money, and which is to spend your money all the time. That's what they're trying to do. And what Bitcoin allows you to do is avoid inflation with 21 million. And the reason this number is important is there's only 21 million Bitcoins.
Only 21 million.
And there will only ever be 21 million.
Only ever be 21
Now,
million.
You can break Bitcoins up into smaller and smaller pieces, so you can have like a tenth of a Bitcoin, a hundredth of a Bitcoin, 1,000th, a 10,000th. You can break it down real small.
Yeah.
You can break it down much smaller than a penny.
Yeah.
So the issue is that this is a fixed supply, so it's not going to inflate all the time.
Right.
And the reason you can't
Or at all.
at all.
At all.
The value is going to go up. You know what that means? The prices of your goods and services go down. Just think about that for a second. Food prices go down, not up. Car prices go down, not up. Housing prices go down over time, not up.
Now that may seem counterintuitive to you, like if you bought a condo and you're just like, I want my price to go up in my house, of course, that makes a total sense, right? It helps create that, what they call generational wealth and that type of stuff like that. But if you can wrap your mind around the new concept of prices going down,
Exactly.
but your value of your dollar being stronger.
Exactly.
So imagine that. So what's great about having your value of your house go up is when you get to be the age of that guy from Up. Remember that guy from Up? When you're like 99 years old, you can be like, yippee, I paid my house off and I can now take one trip around the world before I croak. Or would you rather have a strong dollar right now to be able to afford the things that where the price is driven?
Exactly.
It's kind of it's a new thought, and it's difficult for some people to wrap their minds around it. But just take a jog with it.
Exactly.
Just jog with
Exactly.
it. You know
Because the cost of, I would say that the cost, the downside to the value of your house going up is that the price of all your everyday goods and services goes up. And the problem is that homeowners are in the minority as opposed to renters.
Mm-hmm.
So when the value of your house goes up because of inflation, that helps a minority of people. It's good.
Yeah.
But it hurts the majority who don't own a house, who don't have any financial assets, who are struggling to pay their rent on an apartment that is not appreciating them any financial value. So while this structure does help,
Benefit some.
it does benefit some.
It does benefit some. But not everyone, for a variety of reasons that we don't need to get into, can afford to get a home.
Exactly.
And I think part of Nick's resistance to the system is the way the system is built up is that it only kind of invites certain people
Exactly.
into that particular world,
Exactly.
and that may not be 100% fair. You know what I mean?
No,
In
it's
that
not.
way. Okay.
It is not fair at all.
Yeah. So
The reason that you need to have Bitcoin, and you can't have some knockoff, because there are copies of Bitcoin, direct copies. There's Bitcoin Gold, there's Bitcoin Diamond, there's Bitcoin Green, there's Bitcoin this, there's Bitcoin that. There's all kinds of little knockoffs with Bitcoin that are also limited to 21 million.
Okay.
They have Brad's acting,
Oh.
but they don't have Brad's brand. And so you can have other Bitcoins. You can have people who are just as good of actors as Brad Pitt.
Yeah. I'm one of them.
But they don't have the brand.
That's true
They
too.
don't have the name recognition, and that's why you need Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has built this up over a long period of time.
Right, okay.
And these Bitcoin knockoffs, like Bitcoin Diamond, or Bitcoin Gold, or Bitcoin Green, or Bitcoin this, or Bitcoin that, there's nothing wrong with them. They're perfectly legitimate, but they have zero brand. They're just going off of Bitcoin's name recognition. And even though they're also supply locked, which is good,
That's good. That's a good thing.
they don't have the mining capacity behind them. They don't have the brand.
Right. Okay, so now, which is fine. We love this. That's very, very clear to me. I'm glad that we got the analogy set. That's really, really great. Before we put a button on this episode, I have seen some movies without stars in them. I did take a risk, and it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
So, are you completely alienating other ones?
No.
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. In the crypto world, we say there's Bitcoin and there's altcoins. And what altcoin means is just anything except Bitcoin.
All right. Alt as an alternative.
Yes.
Got it.
Altcoin means this. Just altcoin. Just a ALTE, altcoin.
Okay.
You can do it with or without the hyphen, doesn't matter.
Right, okay.
Altcoin means anything except Bitcoin.
Anything other than the main deal.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's like these off-brand actors. They may have some great acting.
Yes.
They may even be getting a bit of a brand themselves, like Ethereum or Litecoin.
Yeah.
Or Bitcoin Cash.
You know about Bitcoin Cash later. That's a whole different.
That's a whole nother thing, okay.
Well, but there's all kinds of other Bitcoin knockoffs.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
And you're not necessarily alienating them, you're just saying, this is the main thing, this is the
This is the
stock.
main thing.
Okay, good.
This is
Exactly.
This is the
Okay.
star of the show. The other ones are, I wouldn't say extras, but let's say Bitcoin has top billing.
Right, okay. And the alta ones are
The other ones-
fourth and fifth billing.
Fourth and fifth billing.
Okay, all the way down to 16th billing.
Not 16th billing.
Right.
Yeah, so, well, excuse me. Let's say Ethereum is second billing.
Okay.
Litecoin is third billing.
Yeah.
Bitcoin Cash is fourth billing.
Okay.
Those are the people who are going to be on that.
There you go.
Everyone else is extra.
All right, well, that's legit. I just wanted to clear that up to make sure that you weren't saying this is the only thing.
No.
But there are other supporting characters
There are
that
supporting
still have some value.
Exactly.
All right, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, please comment below.
Yes.
Tell us what you like. Thank us for making things more clear in your life. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to add in our community, because we are a community, remember that. We're a community here just to help each other out, clearing up things in the world of crypto.